Alright, welcome to episode 3 of Those Music Nerds. We've got some stuff to talk to you about today, so I'm going to let him start it off and tell you what he's been checking out lately, and then I'll do mine.
Alright, so the first one I'm going to be talking about is Oneohtrix Point Never's Age of. I'm a really big fan of Oneohtrix Point Never's music. He's just so out there. I mean, all of his stuff is just different. It's just great. This album is pretty alright. I mean, there's a lot of great songs on here, like the opening track, Age of. And, fun fact, Oneohtrix Point Never, Daniel Lopatin, he actually does vocals on here, like his own vocals. It sounds pretty cool. Songs that he did vocals on are Babylon, The Station, and Black Snow. There's a lot of really cool songs on here. The Station is probably my favorite. We'll Take It is really like dark sounding. I really like the song Same. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's a great album. You should check it out. I think this is his most recent album. It's a great album. Alright, so the next album I'm going to be talking about is a Swans album, To Be Kind. This album is 2 hours long. It's just insanely long. There's 2 CDs. But it's worth listening to. It's an amazing album. It's just like experimental art rock type stuff. The songs are really long. Screenshot is a great song. There's even a song on here that's like half an hour long, but that song is epic. She Loves Us is great. This is just a great album. It may be really long, but it is definitely worth listening to. Alright, next up is Grimes Halfaxa. Grimes is an experimental pop singer. She's Canadian. She's just a great artist. I love her music. Beautiful, just beautiful. This is definitely the best Grimes album in my opinion. There's a lot of great songs in here. Weregild, World Princess, Swan Song. My sister says The Saddest Things is like probably the greatest Grimes song I've ever heard in my life. It's just amazing. This is definitely a great album.
It's good stuff.
As you know, I am a big fan of Negative Land now, so I had to pick up their classic album, Escape from Noise. This is just a crazy, weird album. The self-titled track is like this really weird experimental pop kind of joke thing. I'm really into this album though. There's a lot of great songs on here. Nesbitt's Lime Soda song, Car Bomb is just crazy. Car Bomb! Christianity is Stupid. I just love that song for some reason. It's just hilarious. Time Zones. That song is just great. It's just so creepy sounding. This album I actually got a few months ago, but I haven't talked about it before. So I really want to talk about it. It is a classic in the vaporwave community. It is Luxury Elite and St. Pepsi's Late Night Delight. It's a really chill album. I'm into it. Like the samples are just very well done. It just really fits, and like, of course, the theme of this album is like Late Night Delight from McDonald's. You know, it's a really cool album. It's very relaxing. Yeah, if you're a vaporwave fan, you probably will know this album. Okay, so the next one is Neurosis's Word as Law. This was before they went into the post-metal scene, but it is still in their middle part before they went into it. So it still sounds very experimental. I know this might have been more of in their hardcore punk days, but it's an amazing album. I love this album. The vinyl is just awesome looking. It's transparent. it's just clear. It's beautiful. It's just,
Indeed.
I love it. So anyway, that's it for me. I'm gonna turn it over to.
All right, so today I mostly have vinyl. I haven't been doing a lot of that on the podcast so far, and I don't have a lot of metal to talk about today. Usually I'm the metal guy that has almost nothing but metal, but I'm doing my other podcast, Those Two Metal Dudes, later today with my other co-host, and I'm saving pretty much all the metal I've been listening to for the last couple of weeks for that. So here's some stuff I've been checking out lately. Most of these are vinyl that I actually listened to over the last few weeks, couple of months, that I haven't really talked about on any of the podcasts so far. So I figured I'd go ahead and do that today, since this is a podcast about more a broader range of music. So the first thing is I've got one CD I've got to talk about. The Allman Brothers Band, one of my favorite bands of all time. You know, southern rock, jazz, blues, country, classic rock and roll, kind of all rolled into one. And in my opinion, one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the history of music. If you want to debate that, go ahead and tune off this podcast, because I won't debate you on that, because the Allman Brothers is one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time.
Yes.
And had the privilege of seeing them in concert twice. I got to see them back in the 90s when they still had a big core of their original members. That was really cool, getting to see Dickie Betts with Allman Brothers before he left. I got to see Dickie and Greg Allman and J-Mo and Butch Trucks, obviously both the original drummers and that were with him till the end. And back before Alan Woody died, I got to see him on bass, and Warren Haynes, so that was really special. Second time I got to see him was several years later here in town, and got to see him with O'Teal on bass and Warren Haynes again. Didn't get to see Derek Trucks that night, was disappointed. But anyway, I digress. This is Beginnings. This is really like a kind of a compilation of a lot of their earlier stuff. It's great stuff. I mean, every track on here is an epic classic song by the Allman Brothers, except for, a couple of covers that they do, like Hoochie Coochie Man, which is great. And Barry Oakley, their original bass player, actually did vocals on that, so really cool. I mean, It's Not My Cross to Bear, Dreams, Whipping Post, Revival, Midnight Rider, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. I mean, just great, great, great songs. Capricorn Records. Enough said, man. The Allman Brothers Band. Great, great stuff.
Capricorn Records is a great label.
Absolutely. All right, the rest of these are vinyl. So still kind of going in the southern rock bluesy tradition, going with Larkin Poe's latest release on vinyl, Self-Made Man. These ladies are amazing.
The splatter vinyl is just
we got
awesome.
to see them in concert last year, and it was really, really, really good. Became a huge fan of this duo. And yes, the splatter vinyl, super cool gold splatter vinyl. This album is just full of great track after great track, amazing music, amazing slide lap steel playing, and guitar work, and great vocals, and nice vocal harmonies. Just Larkin Poe is one of the better. I'll get it in here in a minute. The joys of trying to get vinyl back into its packaging. Let's see.
It's frustrating because the thing is like this.
There we go. All right. So anyway, Larkin Poe's Self-Made Man. Amazing.
I own that vinyl too. It's a great album.
Southern blues rock. Awesome stuff. Hey, still going in the blues. We've got Albert Collins, Ice Pickin' off of Alligator Records. I don't really, if you don't know who Albert Collins is, then you need to check him out. If you're a blues fan, you already know. Look, man, one of the greatest blues players ever, and arguably the best blues guitarist to ever play a Telecaster. Just excellent. We got Ice Pick, Cold Cold Feeling, Too Tired. Just some great tracks on here. 1978. The Iceman, Albert Collins, Ice Pick and vinyl, awesome. All right, here we go. There's another one. This is one my son got me for Father's Day recently. The Beatles, Abbey Road on vinyl. I mean, what do I need to say about that? The Beatles, the greatest rock and roll band of all time.
Number one.
There you go.
Period.
I mean, look, man, come together. You know, Here Comes the Sun. The End. I mean, just those are just a few of the kind of the really well-known tracks off here, but everything on this album is golden. The iconic picture of them crossing the road, man. The Beatles, man. I mean, what do you say? I mean, you know, look.
Heck yeah.
The greatest band ever, and excellent album.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have a really nice new album that well, it's not really new. It's new for me. This album came out 2018. I was about to say, I think a couple of years ago. Equal Vision Records. Artwork is really beautiful. This is Hopes Fall's latest album, Arbiter. Man, really good. Just, I don't know, melodic hardcore, post-hardcore, whatever you want to call it. It's got a lot of melody, a lot of nice singing, a lot of clean passages, but it's got plenty of screaming and heavy riffs as well. The vinyl is really cool too. It is, as you would guess, pink. Cream, very cool. So if you're a fan of like post-hardcore, melodic hardcore, you know, screamo, you know, all that stuff. I mean, I've been a fan of Hopes Fall since, I don't know, man, like 1999, somewhere 1998, somewhere around there. The first time I saw them play, one of my old bands came close to signing to the label they were on at the time, 20 plus years ago. So crossed paths and knew some of those guys from the original lineup. There's not a lot of guys left in the original lineup. I think the drummer and maybe a couple of guitar players are back. And so, yeah, it's great album. Next on the list, going to the heaviest thing that I'm going to talk about today, Converge, You Fail Me. This is a double vinyl. Really cool packaging.
Yeah, the packaging is pretty creative. I also own this, I just haven't listened to it yet.
Is it not a double vinyl, it's just one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can't really show you much on here, but the artwork and the packaging is super cool.
It's
like a double gatefold. Yeah,
it's like a CD, but it's a vinyl.
Really cool. There we go. I mean, everything on here is amazing. This is the album, Death Wish Records, of course. You know, Jake Bannon, the singer for Converge, his label. This album came out right after Jane Doe, so I know a lot of the Converge albums are overshadowed by Jane Doe being such a well-received opus magnus, you know, magnum opus in Converge's catalog. And a lot of people think that's like their best album, and some people, I don't know, have heard ridiculous comments of that's the only album that matters, but I totally disagree. Converge has put out a plethora of amazing albums, and I like everything that I own by Converge, and this coming out right after Jane Doe, I think a lot of people haven't talked about it because of Jane Doe.
I still need to listen to that.
But this album is, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, every bit as good as Jane Doe. I mean, this is a really, really, really good album. You need to check it out. It's got some melodic stuff, some singing, you know, that he's sort of started to, you know, you started to see in the later releases, and you know, and after sort of you heard some of it in Jane Doe, and longer songs and some sludgy elements. You know, I think that was coming from them, you know, being big into bands like Neurosis and things like that.
Yeah.
But just, and then it's got some of the Jane Doe type Converge stuff, the really chaotic math metal, mathcore type stuff.
There's even like a folk song on there.
Yeah, it's just awesome album. I can't say enough good things about it. I can't wait to listen to it more. And the last on my list, this is going New York hardcore old school. It's not an old album. It's actually their latest album, Sheer Terror. You know, these guys are kind of, you know, they're one of the kings of New York hardcore. Really cool purple vinyl. The packaging is really cool. The artwork is super cool.
It kind of reminds me of the movie Clue.
So this is Sheer Terror's Standing Up for Falling Down, Reaper Records. Man, just a really good crossover, hardcore thrash kind of, you know, Sheer Terror. If you know who Sheer Terror is, you already know. It sounds like Sheer Terror, which is good stuff, you know. Paul Bearer, the vocalist and, you know, remaining member from Sheer Terror that's kind of been the guy throughout the history of the band. He's kind of gone through a lot of band members and lineup changes, but, you know, his iconic, just mean, tough as nails, New York hardcore vocal style, and, you know, the guy you wouldn't want to make angry. You know, just really good New York hardcore, Sheer Terror, man. Give it a listen if you haven't. Check it out. If you're a fan of hardcore, you already know who Sheer Terror is. If you're not a fan of hardcore, you might not like it, but maybe you should try it out anyway. So
the artwork kind of reminds me of Clue.
Yep. So that's that for today. If anybody tunes into this, cool. If not, hey, you know, we're gonna keep doing it because
so, maybe
yeah, what else do we have to do? So see ya.
Definitely check out